Whenever we talk about Black Beach Week down in Miami Beach, or Black Biker Week up in Myrtle Beach, or Black College Beach Week in Virginia Beach, or any lots of other large gatherings of black people, we document large-scale episodes of black mob violence, property damage, defiance against police, shootings, even murders. But also on almost every one of those lists of these large acts of criminality, it's almost always down at the bottom of the list, almost like it's too trivial to mention in comparison to this other large acts of criminality, are large groups of black people just behaving atrociously in restaurants, especially walking out on restaurant bills. There's usually a pretext on, didn't like the margarita, didn't have this kind of tequila, didn't have that kind of triple sec, didn't have that kind of sweet and sour. How could you serve us this swill? We're not going to pay our $420 bill. Happens a lot. You know, when the New York Times was basically forced to run a story about Black Beach Week in Miami Beach, they didn't do it what happened, a day or two before. They waited a year. That's when they started saying, yeah, being a waiter or waitress in Miami Beach is dangerous there. Because not only will people run out on the bill, not only will people misbehave in the restaurant, not only will people destroy property inside the restaurant, when the waiters and waitresses leave their shift for the night, they're often met by angry black people who want to pick up where they left off inside the restaurant. That's the New York Times. But we don't normally get it that much on video. But we're lucky enough to find this case down in Memphis, where a large group of the fellas and their lovely ladies decided after they were done eating and drinking, they wanted to smoke a little weed, have a little gin and juice. And when the restaurant staff gently reminded them that they would prefer if they did not smoke marijuana in this restaurant, that's when the threats began. That's when the fights began. And of course, that's what culminated in this large group of black people walking out of this restaurant without paying their bill.
Surveillance video from inside the restaurant shows a table of 16 people eating and enjoying themselves. Frida's manager, Jesse Gonzalez, says they were one of the last tables seated around 10:30 Sunday night, a half hour before close.
And they came at the last minute, and we didn't think anything of it.
He says they treated themselves, ordering some of the most expensive things on the menu, including $11 margaritas.
Burritos, the hefty grounded burritos, the Frida's special steaks, steak and shrimp.
But soon, he says, the bartender got a whiff of something that didn't smell like grilled steak and peppers.
It was just one guy that was just smoking weed, and we asked him to stop, and I guess he was like the leader of the group, and they just went out and listened to him and made a scene.
There's no sound in the surveillance video, but at this point, Gonzalez says the group started berating the staff.
They started getting louder and louder, getting upset, started yelling. That's when they started making offenses to the server and telling them, like, come on, come on.
Eventually, one by one, people finish their drinks and leave the table. Except for these two women left behind. They didn't seem to be in as much of a hurry. She even carries her blue margarita away from the table and continues to drink it after the group ignores staff and skips out on their $420 bill. Gonzalez says they even pushed one of the servers in the stairwell. He says he's never seen anything like it.
Our walkouts are, hey, they forgot to pay, or they'll come back the next day. Major walkouts like that, that's our first biggest one.
Gonzalez says he thinks they planned the whole outburst so they could skip out on the bill.
You don't think that they're going to do that, especially on a Sunday night. And yeah, just one guy got them all riled up, and they all left at the same time.
The manager says at this point he's not too worried about the money. He's just glad all of his staff is okay. But he does want police to catch the people who did this. So,
kind of a cliche by now how a lot of black people act in restaurants. But ask a restaurant server in a place like Frida's in Memphis, or in a place like Miami Beach, or in a place like Myrtle Beach, or Virginia Beach, Ask them what it's like. Ask them if all the stuff we're talking about here is unfamiliar to them. And if you do ask them, they'll tell you, oh yeah, we see that all the time. We just don't talk about it because we don't want to make the black kids angry.